What up, everybody? Welcome to the Twin Wrestle Pod. We're going to review WWE Survivor Series War Game 2025. The show just ended maybe about an hour ago, and I wasn't able to catch the Women's War Games match at the beginning, so I just rewatched it. This pay per view overall was just okay. Nothing really stuck out. Nothing really like crazy happened. All the War Games matches were just formulaic. The women's was better than the men's, in my opinion. Everybody in the women's got their stuff in. The men's was just kind of lousy because Brock was in there for the majority of the part. So you know when Brock is in there, you ain't gonna get that much of Brock Lesnar really. Show was live from Petco Park, San Diego, California. I think they had like a record of 46,000, maybe 412 or some shit like that, or 106, somewhere in there. But they had 46,000 people in there. 46,000 plus was in their stadium. For a 4-match card that we already knew it was going to go a certain way. The majority of the people knew the outcomes. I had a hard time believing that the heels, the vision was not going to win just because they solely had Brock Lesnar on their team. I just felt it weird to be like, I think Brock and them are going to lose this match. Just they won just based on the sole reason that Brock Lesnar was in that match. And we'll get to that towards the end of the night. But I'm going to go through a little bit of points here and there. First match to kick off the show was the Women's War Games match. Charlotte and Asuka started it off. A little bit of history between the two. They go way back to WrestleMania 34, as we all do know. Charlotte beat Asuka at that very WrestleMania. Same thing here. I do want to shout out Charlotte's ring gear. Gave me Ultimate Warrior vibes from back in the day. How I used to have those airbrush underwear and tights and stuff with the Ultimate Warrior logo. Hers looked spot on to that, and it was very cool. You don't really see wrestling gear like that as much as you did back in the day and current times anymore. So shout out to Charlotte for that. Charlotte's team had the advantage, so the next person to join the fray was Io Sky, and she came out there with a trash can lid written with Io Sky on it. Was very hesitant to use it. Her and Asuka were going back and forth. Hesitant to use it, and then eventually she did use it on Asuka, but it didn't last that long. Asuka then took control, and she was really going after both Charlotte and Io at this point until Io came back and took it over and helped Charlotte get the advantage. So they, pounded on Asuka for a while. No pun intended. Get your mind out of the gutter. And to even the odds, next person we got up was the man, Becky Lynch, who has had a rough couple of weeks, being that she just lost her Intercontinental Championship. And AJ Lee got the best of her, so she just thrust into this War Games match so she can find some semblance of hope and regaining the aura of what the man was. She came in there with a kendo stick. She used it here and there, used it a little bit on Charlotte, used it a little bit on Io. Really, really cut and dry shit here. Next woman up was for Io and Charlotte's team, and I think that was Alexa Bliss. She came out there like a ball of fire, got some moves in. Credible tag team moves by her and Charlotte. I don't think WWE should break them up no time soon. Their chemistry is growing, and they have a lot of momentum still pushing in that tag team scene, so I would keep them two together. Next up, we had Kairi Sane coming in and enter the fray. Even the odds. Took her time. She brought in a chain. Used it on Io, used it on Charlotte, and used it on Alexa. Next up, for team AJ Lee, we had AJ Lee enter the fray. For the first time, her first War Games matchup. Becky didn't let her into the cage, so AJ Lee climbed over the cage. And she did a awesome crossbody on the Kabuki Warriors to take the momentum for her team. Then for the heel side, we get Nia Jax, who comes in there and just wreaks havoc. She just wreaks havoc on everybody in there. Real shit. Just throwing motherfuckers into the cage, power bombing people, power slamming people, all type of shit. Double clothesline on both Alexa and Charlotte. Then we get Rhea Ripley, who yet again has another cool mask. This mask is inspired by Art the Clown from the Terrifier films. I'm going to go on a limb. This is a great mask, but it isn't better than her mask that she had last year in the War Games matchup. That was made by the guy who made the Fiend's mask. That mask was awesome, but this Terrifier mask was pretty dope too. She came out there with a If you watch the Terrifier films, you know he carries like a trash bag. So she came out there very identical to Art the Clown. The trash bag, the trash can with I think her and EO's logo on it. Brought it into the ring, threw it at Nia Jax, and she just used the kendo stick on Becky, used it on Oscar and Kyrie to even the odds for a team. Then we got the final entrant for the heel team and Lash Legend. I don't like her theme song. I think WWE can do a whole lot better when it comes to the theme song. Thank the Lord. Death Rap was about to come to an end because she needed a new theme song. That she just kept her metaphor theme. That metaphor theme in NXT was way better than what she had in today's show. But Lash came in there. She did her like WWE is really gonna be pushing her. You can tell they gave her the final entrant in the Wars game matchup for the woman. She came in there, had moments of spots, getting rid of EO, getting rid of AJ, getting rid of everybody in the matchup. Alexa, Charlotte, like she had some really great spots in this matchup. Lash Legend did, and she got her face-to-face encounter with Rhea, and there's a cool shot of Rhea with the Terrifier mask waving at Lash Legend. That's gonna be a cool pick right there for sure. But her, she got the better part of Rhea. She hit her with a bicycle kick, like a power bomb, and then a bicycle kick to finish her off. And then the War Games match commenced, and this was a cookie cut and dry match. One thing I do like, they didn't use that many weapons. You had, I think, EO brought a weapon in, Kyrie brought a weapon in, Rhea, Becky, and that's really it. Most of the other people in the match didn't really bring no weapons in. I like that a lot because they need to get away from that mode. Past War Games matches is like everybody have to enter in with a weapon. I'm glad they minimized that as much and the girls didn't use it as much. The thing that really cost the heel team in this scenario is one point in the ring, Oscar, the whole heel team is grouping up on Rhea, and Oscar goes to use the mist and spit the mist in Rhea's face, and Charlotte pushes Rhea out the way, and she ends up misting Lash Legend. From that moment, the team was pretty much done because Charlotte and Rhea got the upper hand on them. And then, meanwhile, you see this off of camera. EO is on top of the cage. AJ Lee has the trash can that Rhea brings into the matchup. She's trying to give it up there. Rhea gives her a boost to hand the trash can up to EO. And we get the infamous EO spot with her putting the trash can on her. And this time, instead of her doing like a splash or like a tilt-a-whirl or spinning splash or whatever she did last year, she did a fucking swanton onto all four ladies. It was picture perfect. That's probably like the spot of the match because it was so perfect. All the woman was down there to catch EO as she fell. Wonderful moment. So shout out to her. She don't need to be doing it all the time. I just thought she wasn't going to do it because I think in an interview a couple months ago she said she was done doing that spot, but evidently she did it in this match. But it looked very good in this matchup, and that wiped out the remaining members of the heel team, and it only left one member of that team, and that person who has the worst luck of everybody in that team, which was Becky Lynch. And she tried to get out of the ring, tried to escape on the other side of the cage. But nah, Charlotte stopped her, and she hit her with the big boot, and left it for AJ Lee to finish her off with the Black Widow. And yet again, getting the upper hand on Becky Lynch and making her tap out for her team to win Women's War Games. This match was not great. It wasn't great, but it was okay. The whole theme of this show was okay. They could have done better for sure, but given the competitors and the later matches, I wasn't expecting that much. And I think just because we had so many cage matches over the past 2 to 3 weeks, I was just getting desensitized and I wasn't like fully invested in everything on this pay-per-view at all. But WWE is partly to blame for that for sure. So everybody in this matchup got their shit in. Lash Legend came out there looking fantastic. EO with that spot alone, that just puts her on top. And AJ Lee looked really good. Nia Jax looked good as well. All the women in this matchup did something that made them look good. Becky and AJ, we can see where this is trending upwards towards. There's got to be a WrestleMania match between these two because they're going to have to do something in the Rumble where Becky eliminates AJ or AJ eliminates her and then Becky gets the upper hand and Becky comes back in the ring and she eliminates AJ. I see this feud going up until WrestleMania, so that's going to be our WrestleMania match for sure. I'll be shocked if they don't. if they touched before WrestleMania in a match capacity, 1-on-1. Next up, we had John Cena versus Dirty Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Dom was led to the ring by Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. So we all knew going into this matchup what the outcome was going to be. So the outcome to anyone should not be a surprise. I told my brothers a couple weeks ago when John Cena won a championship that he was going to have to drop it at Survivor Series because it only made sense. You don't want Cena losing the championship at Saturday Night's Main Event in his final match. So he ended up losing this matchup to Dirty Dom. And the bitch spot was, I think everybody probably, it was like a rumor pretty much, like within the IWC, that Liv Morgan would come back and help Dirty Dom pick up the win. And that's what she did. This match overall, I felt like their match on Monday Night Raw was way better. The match they had when John Cena won the championship at Monday Night Raw was way better than the match they had here at Survivor Series. This was just a basic television match with a lot of theatrics involved. A lot of members of Judgment Day that we know in all dominance matches, they get involved. The bitch spot was Liv Morgan coming back out there and helping Dom win. So Dom got his IC strap back and he got his girl back. So best of both worlds, right? Where does Cena go from here? He has one more date, Saturday Night's Main Event. So let's just relish in these last 2 weeks. Because after these 2 weeks and we get to that pay-per-view, John Cena is gone forever. We know he'll make appearances, but in the ring capacity, he's done after this. This match was okay, man. If you want to watch a John Cena versus Dom match, watch their match in Boston on Monday Night Raw when John Cena won the championship. That was a fantastic match, way better than this match. It blew this match out of the water. But creative spots, but in this match, what you're gonna get from John Cena. The double AA spot on JD and Finn Balor was a good spot, but Liv Morgan coming back with a cherry on top for sure. Then we got the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer defending the Women's World Championship versus Nikki Bella. I just couldn't really get into this matchup. The build wasn't there for me. And the outcome we all knew what the outcome was gonna be, okay? No way, shape, and form was Stephanie Vaquer losing to Nikki Bella. I didn't think WWE would put any much stock into the creative plans into this matchup. This was just another match for Stephanie Vaquer to get featured on the card and rack up a win. That's all this was, really. Nikki Bella being the heel, though, is good because they can go somewhere with this. It depends on where they go with it, though. Do you include her sister after this, or what? Do you run another program with her and Stephanie Vaquer? Who knows? But Stephanie Vaquer came out here. She defeated her with the corkscrew moonsault. It was an okay match, but it was more of a TV match. They just featured it on her because it was the women's match. But Stephanie Vaquer picked up the win to no one else's surprise. Then we get to our main event, the men's War Games matchup. This matchup was okay. I think the best War Games match they ever had was the Bloodline versus the team of Kevin Owens now, when Sammy showed his allegiance to the Bloodline. That's their best War Games match they ever put on in terms of everything, story and everything involved. The second best they had was the one with Randy Orton return. Those two War Games matches were better than this War Games match. When you get people in like Brock, Logan Paul, Brock is only gonna do Brock shit for about 5-6 minutes, and that's what he did in this match, bro. Like, the order of this matchup was CM Punk starting, Braun Breaker for his team starting, and I think Team Punk they had the disadvantage. I think the second person that come out, I'm trying to think who all was on this fucking team. Drew McIntyre, the second person to come out. So him and Braun had the upper hand on CM Punk. And you had that history. I like this because you had the history with Punk and McIntyre. It's the first time they came eye to eye since McIntyre was moved on SmackDown, since their Hell in a Cell match they had last year. So I like that fact. And CM Punk got busted open the hard way. They weren't intentionally like throwing the motherfuckers into the cage and then busted open. So that part I liked. Okay, blood was minimal. You didn't really see that much blood. You don't need that much blood to sell it, right? Cody Rhodes was the next one out to even the odds for CM Punk and his team. And a very scary spot when Cody Rhodes came out there. They had Braun Breaker up in a Doomsday Device position, and Cody Rhodes came off of the turnbuckles, and I think it was CM Punk. CM Punk came off the turnbuckles, and he hit Braun Breaker with a clothesline, and Braun landed right on the fucking back of his neck, and he was out for a minute. The doctors were checking on him. I thought he was through. Came out there, and then they focused on Drew McIntyre until the next man up, I think, was Logan Paul. It was pretty standard. You didn't really get that much shit in this matchup. He didn't come out there with no weapons at all. Just even the odds for his team. Next up, we had Jimmy Uso. This one, everything started to so-called pick up. Jimmy picked up a table from outside the ring, which I was like, okay, I can do without the table, but it was like a theme in this pay-per-view. Like, the people who don't get the most reactions bring in the weapons per se. Like Jimmy, he was the one getting the least reactions out of everybody in this matchup, right? So he had to bring out the table so the crowd can get pumped, right? Because it's him. Kairi Sane in the other match, she barely got a reaction when she came out there, so she had to get the chain and use the chain, right? Even then, that didn't barely get that much reaction. But Jimmy came out there, brought the table in the ring, got a reaction from the crowd. Then really nothing really happened for real, man. Like these matches were just like there, man. Like nothing really eventful really happened in most of these matches. Then the next person we got coming out was Bronson Reed for the Team Vision. He came out there just killing shit. Tsunamis to everyone involved. I enjoyed that. Tsunami to CM Punk, tsunami to Cody, tsunami to Jimmy. Came out there just wrecking shit. Because last time we seen me doing a tsunami in a War Games match, he broke his damn foot. Next up, we had Jey Uso, who came out there yeeting with the crowd per se, right? Delivering super kicks to everybody. Him and Jimmy delivering super kicks to Logan, Braun. At this point, Braun Breaker was back up in the matchup, delivering super kicks to Bronson Reed, delivering super kicks to Drew McIntyre. Then we got Brock Lesnar coming out there. He had a chair, using a chair on everybody in the matchup. Couple clotheslines, couple Germans. And then we get the countdown clock. Everybody's laid out. Brock goes to the door. And you know Brock Lesnar's done working when Brock Lesnar takes his gloves off. We all know that every time we see a Brock match. Whether it's the Royal Rumble, Steel Cage, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania. Whenever the gloves go off of Brock, that means his time for working in the ring is done for the most part. So we get to our fifth entrant, and it's the OTC Roman Reigns. Comes out there, Brock and him stare down at the ramp. Brock tries to go to attack Roman. Roman delivers Superman punches all the way to the announce table. And as Roman is going to deliver his final Superman punch, Brock catches him in midair and fires him through the announce table. And Brock took control from that moment on. He threw Roman into the cage, and then the War Games commenced. And then from here, really, the match only lasted probably like 10 minutes after that. It was a bunch of ego shit. The story of this match was the ego, right, between Roman, Punk, and Cody. Which, okay, you can do that, right? Fine. The only team unit in that whole entire group was the Usos. So they had that working in their favor. And parts of the match, when Cody came out there earlier on, he elbow pumped by accident. So that was like the layers of the tree coming off there. And pretty much they're gonna blame Cody Rhodes for this whole blunder of a match, okay? In terms of the babyface side. So Brock throws Roman into the ring. At this point, Logan Paul gets the brass knuckles, hits everybody in the ring with the brass knuckles. He tried to go for Roman. Roman spears him, takes the brass knuckles. Superman punches everybody in the matchup. Then Braun Breaker tries to go out at Roman. Roman spears him. And at this point, Brock is getting up, and Jay's telling Roman to spear him to hit him with the knuckles, but Brock counters it. He lifts up Jimmy. He lifts up Jay at this point. Roman sees it, and then he just spears Brock Lesnar through the table to help Jay. And at this point, that just took Roman. It took everybody outside of the match, pretty much for the most part. So On one side of the ring is CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the rest of the division, right? Braun Breaker's over there. So we get this masked figure climb into the cage, and you can tell by his mannerisms and how he stand and how he walk, it was Austin Theory. Everybody knows it was Austin Theory under that mask. You can tell if you do a comparison to how that guy was standing and how Austin Theory stands and how he walks, that was Austin Theory. So Austin Theory, right, dressed in all black, he delivers a curb stomp and the crowd goes crazy, like thinking like, oh, it's Seth Rollins. You don't get the identity of the guy in black. He climbs out of the cage. He hits the super kick on Punk, curb stumps him, climbs out of the cage. At this point, Punk is stirring up Braun Breaker, shoots the ropes, spears Punk, and picks up the 1-2-3 for the win, and Team Vision wins over Team Punk. What can I say about this War Games Survivor Series? It was okay. It was just there. Flat, man. The men's match was it didn't overstay its welcome. The positives I can give for this pay-per-view, the matches didn't overstay their welcome. They didn't use that many weapons. They didn't bleed as much. If at all. I think CM Punk was the only one who bled in there. I think Cody had his shiner that he had got on SmackDown. I think that would start bleeding. Outside of that, no one really bled, which was a good thing. But the Women's War Games match was the best match on the card. John Cena and Dominic was your regular Monday Night Raw match, but the one they had in Boston was way better than this one. Survivor Series War Games 2025 was just there. It's not going to be a show that's going to be remembered. It's going to be lost in the annals of time. Do you have to go back and watch it? Nah. If you want to go back and see Brock in the War Games for the first time, go back and watch it. But it was pretty temper show. It wasn't really that great. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good neither. Just in a minute. It was just there. Just a roadblock to get us to December, to get us to the Royal Rumble. That's all it was. And that's my review on Survivor Series War Games 2025.